Christy. You found my YouTube channel, Christy Love, where I review fragrance. I'm obviously in a whole new setting today. I'm here with Christy Feiker. She owns Christy Feiker Essentials. I'll link her website below so you can check her out. And we are talking about essential oils. And I so rarely talk about essential oils on this channel, Christy. I usually talk about like commercial perfumes and reviewing, all kinds of niche houses and designer houses and all that. But I actually do use essential oils in my daily life, which we've talked about in depth before. I do use them to help me sleep, to help me relax, and I haven't really thought of them as perfumes, and maybe they aren't perfumes, we'll talk about that of course, but they definitely have a really strong place in my fragrance journey, and probably for a lot of people who are watching it is as well. So I wanted to ask Christy, and I'm very grateful you said yes to talk with me. So Christy, in addition to having her company, she also sells doTERRA essential oils. That's the oil that you choose. I'll ask you why in a second, why that is. But before I jump into all that, my usual spiel. Yes. I thank you for allowing me the time. I post to this channel twice a week with my fragrance content. I also post to my Instagram and TikTok with scent of the day videos. So check those out. I'll link those below as well. So without further ado, Christy Feiker, everyone.
Fun.
Yeah, I'm so excited to do this. And we're in her beautiful home.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my goodness. I wish I had this set up for my videos.
It's pretty wonderful.
Yeah.
You saw the guy who's working on it. My husband's the one that's making it all beautiful for us. And yeah, it's really been an incredible journey to work with doTERRA essential oils and to get to live in such a beautiful place is actually connected to the journey with doTERRA. I started out the journey experiencing the oils and realizing that they're pretty powerful. I'm a licensed midwife. And so before doTERRA, I was just buying some oils from the health food store for certain things that could support labor and birth, and I was rarely using them. They smelled nice, and I knew they were good for some things, and when I actually experienced doTERRA oils compared to those, I was blown away at the medicinal quality and the purity. And so then it was from there that we realized, wow, we actually want time freedom. We actually need out-breath time as a family. And so...
Out-breath time. I love that concept.
Right?
Like release.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's really what brought us here into the 12 acres and having our dream home.
Because you moved to Vermont a few years ago, right?
We moved to Vermont about 4 years ago, and we started our essential oil business in 2013.
Nice. Okay, and was it always doTERRA from the beginning?
It was always doTERRA from the beginning. Yeah, I used them as a customer for a couple of years before starting the business, and I just couldn't help sharing with like my sister who has seasonal discomfort and gets really congested. She clearly needed the breathe oil and some support there, and so it just came out of helping others.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so doTERRA has blends, and they also have single essential oil as well, right? Yeah, so I'll admit that I don't have many doTERRA essential oils, and I feel like that's the next level for me in my essential oil journey, because I just go to TJ Maxx and buy like the Sale Vanilla and the Sale Lemongrass or whatever. And I feel like I'm going to be blown away by smelling the oils that you have and be like, oh, time to redo the whole collection. So I asked you to pick out a couple of your favorites. I've definitely a couple of my favorites I want to talk about. So let's grab one and just...
Okay. So I think the part that's the most exciting for me is that we didn't open them before the video. Like, I love that we're going to experience you.
Yes. The first sniff, so to speak. Yeah.
So Christine shared with me that lemongrass is her favorite oil. So
I love lemongrass because of purely the scent. Like, I want to know more of what it's good for, actually, because just for me, it's a really uplifting scent. So let me just... Oh my God, it's so good! This is just such a happy scent. It's like, I wouldn't even describe it as citrusy. It smells more herby than citrusy.
Yep, it's a grass that is grown in India. And so we source it natively. And actually, if you Google doTERRA lemongrass sourcing, there's a sweet little 5-minute clip of our sourcing families that go out and climb the mountain, harvest the lemongrass.
Wow.
It's pretty incredible.
That is incredible. So if someone were to not get a doTERRA version, like a not naturally sourced what does like a low grade lemongrass come from then? Is it synthetic? I mean,
yeah, so they're synthetic. They're
okay.
very inexpensive to create when you create them in a lab, and they can have the same chemical structuring. So a lot of testing will look at synthetic versus a pure oil and show similar profiles on lower budget testing.
Yeah.
And there is no industry regulation with essential oils. And so because it's so inexpensive to create them in a lab, there's that temptation to say, oh, we'll add a few drops of pure.
Right.
And then the synthetic, and now it only costs pennies to create this.
Sure.
Yeah. And you will get some of the benefits from those oils because there's some pure in there.
But I'd rather have more pure than less, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So yeah, to me, this is just, it's so beautiful. It does have like a zestiness that kind of reads as citrus, but it's more herbal. It's just like a really happy scent. So this is something that you would use to probably get more energized versus relaxing.
Exactly. And it's a cleanser. So I love diffusing it to cleanse a space. So it will raise up the energy in a home. It's also great to physically clean. So putting it in a spray bottle for countertops.
With some water or something in it?
Yes.
Okay.
The other really cool thing about doTERRA essential oils that you'll notice is that there's a supplement.
So you can eat that?
Yes. Isn't that amazing?
You
can cook with it.
That freaks me out a little bit, but I'll roll with you on this.
Yes. Okay, so there are no other essential oil companies that have that type of quality. You won't see an FDA supplement.
Oh, I would never.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Okay. And so one thing I do also with like lemongrass and also orange is I dab them in my car. So for a while I was using those like Bath and Body Works, like what do they call them, little like scent gel things, right? And I started to realize how many chemicals were in them. I was getting kind of freaked out about that. Wallflowers too, shout out, are like so full of chemicals. I used to work at Bath and Body Works a long time ago, and whenever a wallflower leaked, it would like take the paint off of everything it touched. It was like really freaky. Home fragrance actually freaks me out. And so using essential oils for home fragrance makes me feel so much better, whether it's a diffuser or like just putting it on a little pad in my car to like wake me up while I'm driving for a while. So lemongrass is one I use in the car and like keep in the car.
Yeah, it's energizing.
Yeah.
Topically, it's really soothing for like sprains, strains, for muscle relief.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So that's a winner. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Lemongrass.
Yes.
And just know that not all plants have essential oils. So sometimes it's the root of the plant, sometimes it's the bark, the leaf, the petal, the grass. So lavender, it's the flower.
Everyone's favorite, right?
Well, I actually didn't love lavender.
Really?
When I started using doTERRA oils, I thought, no, I'm really not a fan of lavender. I had lavender because it's soothing, right? And so I wanted to have that available at births for calming. But what I found is that it did have just a lot of high notes and wasn't very soothing until I experienced this lavender.
This particular lavender.
Yeah, so there's spike lavender and then there's lavandula. There's different types of lavender.
Oh,
and this
there
one
are.
is a really soothing lavender.
Ooh, okay. Are there like more than 5 different types of lavenders?
That I don't know. I wonder.
I wonder. So lavender is something I'm seeing coming out more in perfumes. One I think of is Monguerlain by Guerlain. That's like a big perfume house, and that has lavender in it. But it's a different kind of lavender. It almost comes off as kind of sharp to me in Monguerlain. But this is definitely more soothing than that scent. It's like obviously more natural. I don't know if that's like a synthetic lavender in theirs. It's pretty mass produced, so it might not be high grade lavender in theirs. But to me, this isn't like necessarily outwardly a pleasing scent per se. This is something that I have tested and tried and really works well for me when I'm trying to sleep. And in the past, I've put this, like dabbed it on the bottom of my feet when I was trying to sleep, and it really helped me out a lot. So this is one, actually, when I've mixed, and you're not going to go crazy because they do different things, but I've mixed lavender and lemongrass together, and they actually were really pretty together, almost in a perfume-like way. Like, the fragrance was really good for me. So this is one that I think is probably one of the most popular. I mean, from what I've heard, lavender is also really safe. Like, it won't hurt your skin. It's like really gentle on you, and
It is, yes. Unless you have a synthetic lavender. So
Yeah.
oftentimes lavender that's sold in most stores is spike lavender, and it's oftentimes synthetic. And so lavender, you think of it soothing. So soothing for sleep, soothing for emotions, soothing for skin. So bug bites, burns. But if you put spike lavender that's synthetic directly on a burn or irritated skin, it will actually irritate it more.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, different. And with this lavender, you can, without diluting it, put it straight on a burn.
Without diluting it? Wow.
It's just going to be soothing.
And this says here that you can ingest it?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, so not my favorite taste,
right.
but we have done some baking with it.
Really?
Chocolate.
Chocolate with lavender.
Just one drop, you know.
Just you want to use very little.
Yeah, very little.
Wow, that's really cool. I didn't know you could actually eat lavender. That's interesting. So yeah, this is probably a crowd favorite for lots of reasons, but I'm going to smell like so good when I leave here. I'm really excited.
Yeah. So another internal use of lavender would be you could put it in, say, an empty veggie cap for internal use at bedtime if you just wanted that extra.
Is that kind of serving a purpose kind of like melatonin does, or like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's actually some really cool research that has come out. So in France, they did some research with lavender oil. I think it was actually an anxiety medication. So it wasn't specifically for sleep. But what happened is with that anxiety medication, it caused drowsiness. So it wasn't like a good one to be driving with or for alertness.
Yes.
And the lavender oil in the published medical research showed that it gave the same calming effect without those side effects that were unwanted with the medication. Yeah.
I mean, it's worth a try at first, right? Like, I mean, I really don't like using medication, even antibiotics. I'm like, I'll use it when I have to, of course. But like, I'm like, if I can put less junk in my body, that's probably better. So like essential oils being the first round of defense is really attractive to me.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people are turning to natural medicine these days.
Yeah.
Peppermint, I'm excited for you to experience because this one is so bright and clean.
I love peppermint. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Yeah. Oh, because you know, a lot of mints are so harsh and like stringent that like peppermint is just this beautiful, like calming mint. You know, it's kind of more subtle and mellow, but still kind of fresh. It's a little bit sweet.
Yeah.
I know it's not trying to be sweet, but there's like kind of a natural sweetness in this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. And this is one you can ingest, I'm assuming, as well?
This one for sure has so many uses. So it's going to be like breaking up your mucus. If you have a cold or you're feeling congested, a drop on your tongue, it actually will break up your mucus. I've had people say like, wow, this was the first time I could breathe all week with being congested.
That's cool.
Yeah. Soothing for your digestive system. Cooling. So if you think of being overheated or athletes, it's cooling. What else? Digestion, oxygenating, so respiratory. Yeah, it's like all around.
And it just smells amazing. So is this one that if I were to diffuse it, I want to do more so like in the morning to get pepped up, or is this more like relaxing?
I like the more like pepped up.
Okay.
I love it combined with lemongrass.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I know a chiropractic clinic that's what they diffuse and they call it their happy juice, peppermint and lemongrass together.
I love that. It sounds amazing. I'll definitely do it when I get home. Awesome. Peppermint is definitely a winner. And I want to say real quick that I asked you a really tough question off camera a while ago about using essential oils as perfume, and if there's any way to like make them project and last in the way that we typically think about perfumes doing so. And I don't know if you want to address that now, or if you want me to.
Sure.
Yeah. Let me. So, do people use essential oils as perfume? And if so, how and which scents do they usually use to do that? Which oils?
Oh, good question. Okay, so yes, people use essential oils as perfumes. And
I should say personal fragrance. Perfume probably isn't the right word.
Personal fragrance would be the right word.
Yeah.
And the part about which ones is really a tricky one because it's all personal preference. And really the sky is the limit because every body interacts differently with the oil, and our bodies change as our emotions are shifting. And so what I used to use might be left behind, and I might have a new like these days I'm really into fur oils in the winter time and just loving that like Christmas tree smell. But there are books on blending, and people can get really into it, or you can be a novice and just have like a starter kit with doTERRA and simply put on some...
Just kind of play with them, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you could use a carrier oil to apply it to your skin too, right?
That's the thing that we talked about, which is that the pure essential oils, they are aromatic volatile compounds, which means they flash off really quickly, and it means you get the benefits. So say I have head tension and I take an over-the-counter medication, that's normally going to take 15, 30 minutes to notice a difference. Where with essential oils, if I apply some oil for my head tension, I'm probably going to notice something within a minute.
Okay.
And it's because it works so fast, the aromatic volatile compounds are flashing off, but it also means that you lose the benefits then quickly. So you want to frequently reapply essential oils, or you want to use a carrier oil because then it holds those benefits on longer. So when I think of like a personal fragrance, having that carrier oil, which jojoba for your face is the best, and then fractionated coconut oil, which means the fat is taken out.
So you can just do that at home, right? Just drop some oil into it and just put it on, right?
That's my favorite thing about this, is that they're just like so user friendly.
Yeah,
they're so easy.
Absolutely. And when you have doTERRA or like a brand that ensures quality, you can feel pretty confident you're not going to hurt yourself using it or using something really synthetic or nasty.
Yeah, I've had people think that they were maybe allergic to essential oils because they had tried them before and got reactions.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Awesome. I see one over there that I am really excited about.
Yeah, this is probably like our top oil these days. So it is called On Guard. It's a protective blend.
This is like a thieves oil. It's been known as in the past, right?
Yes. So it is a blend of wild orange, clove bud, cinnamon leaf, cinnamon bark, eucalyptus leaf, and rosemary leaf. And it is so amazing.
Ooh, it's so good. Oh, it's beautiful. It's like a little bit spicy, a little bit sweet and zesty from the orange. It's just a really seamless blend. It just comes together really well.
I love the brightness with the wild orange in there. It's not a heavy, it's a lighter.
This is like both calming and it makes you feel kind of, I don't know, resilient in some way.
Oh, totally.
Like this is just something that makes me feel like strong. It makes me feel like competent and creative. Like this is one I would definitely put in a diffuser and just like let it go throughout my house all day.
I'm blown away by your description
my
of
adjectives.
it. Because you've got it. Resilient is like, that's the word I would think of with it. And I hadn't used that word with it before, but it is the protective blend. So when we're in the presence of On Guard, what I notice is that people have healthier boundaries.
Oh, so there's like kind of a mental fortitude that oils can give you too.
Yeah.
Not just all physical.
Exactly.
I love that.
And On Guard, there is some pretty awesome medical research on it. And On Guard, if you think about, I'm just going to do a little basic biology.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So if you think about a cell, bacteria lives on the outside of a cell and viruses live on the inside of a cell. So if you have like a bacterial infection or something, you can oftentimes go to the doctor, maybe an antibiotic will work. So think about like ear infections, things like that. But if you think about a virus, oftentimes it's get enough rest, drink enough fluids, support your immune system, right? And you just have to wait it out. There's not anything oftentimes that will just kill a virus.
Yeah.
Well, when you're working with pure essential oils, the cell membrane is oily, and so the essential oil can actually bypass the cell membrane, go inside the cell, and keep the virus from duplicating. So we have a really incredible tool with essential oils.
Is it that all oils are able to break that barrier the same way, or is it only certain ones that are able to?
Pure oils are able
all
to.
All pure oils are able to. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty incredible.
Wow. We're not doctors, and we're not saying to you. Disclaimer right now.
Absolutely.
But that's really fascinating research. Yeah. I'm glad that they're even considering, because it seems like the medical community tends to ignore the holistic side sometimes. Maybe they're getting better about that now. But I think that's really interesting. All right, On Guard. I just love it so much. This is one I actually could see wearing as a perfume, believe it or not. Like if this were a perfume in a bottle and I was just like spraying it on as a perfume, I would describe it as something that's kind of unisex and like a little bit spicy and zesty and like definitely up my alley, definitely a winter type scent. And like I know that oils aren't designed to like project and last on your skin, but I am definitely smelling them all around me right now. Like I'm touching them, the oils are on my skin. Like I can definitely see using pure essential oil as a perfume. If you don't mind not having too big of a scent bubble, right? It's more of a personal fragrance I could see. Yeah. But also, I'm trying to think of like patchouli is one that people have traditionally used as a perfume, and it is so strong. And patchouli is in almost every perfume I own. Like it's like a little base note in almost everything. Yep. And so I'm not that you know necessarily, but I'm kind of putting out to the world. I'm curious, like why patchouli became so popular. Maybe because of its strength. I don't know.
Yeah. I have a couple others here.
Yeah. Oh, there was one Vetiver that I wanted to talk about.
Yes, I was thinking Vetiver.
Because I don't know if I've actually smelled this in pure essential oil form, but I'm seeing it in more and more perfumes. So I was just really curious, kind of actually understanding where these fragrance notes come from is actually, I think, going to help me talk about perfumes better in the future.
Awesome.
So I'll be able to detect what they actually smell like.
So Vetiver is the root of a grass grown in Haiti.
Interesting.
And so if you think about like the root of a grass, it's very grounding. It's very earthy.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful for helping people sleep. It's wonderful for people who are wanting to calm when their attention is going other places. So helping with focus, which is interesting, right? Because it's also going to support sleep. But it's just this very like grounding, bringing you inward.
This is so interesting. So this is not what I wear as a perfume per se. But what it is it does smell like grass. It smells herbal, but it has almost like an olive-y-ness to it. I can't put my finger on like a green olive type underpinning for me. But that is like a beautiful grassy scent. I'll admit, I'm getting a little bit of On Guard in my nose from my hands. So I'm trying to like hold the bottle so I'm not getting
Sometimes
that.
it can be a bit. That's why I was like, let's just have these few. But then sometimes it's hard. I'm like, oh, we can't leave those last two out over there.
But you know what? I think that this is more grassy than Vetiver reads when it's like in synthetic form in perfumes, which is really interesting. It's like when I think of Vetiver, I think of more like herbal spiciness. But this is very grassy and green, and like I love this. This is so. What might you blend this with, like for a diffuser, for example? What does Vetiver go well with?
Well, it goes well with lavender at bedtime, and also a little bit of wild orange. I know that sounds interesting because wild orange is so bright and uplifting.
That's awesome. I love it.
It's also relieves me of worries. So a lot of the like head talk that's happening when I want it to calm down. The wild orange just brings like a brightness of like abundance of I can let that to-do list go, etc. So it goes nice with Vetiver.
I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Really cool to smell it.
So Vetiver, just a little bit about doTERRA and why we choose to work with them. So it's not just the purity, right? We're clear on how pure these oils are, but it's also like the medicinal properties that we're getting from having them on us, and the sourcing that we do. So typically sourcing is done through brokers, and there's all kinds of adulteration that happens with personal fragrances and essential oils. And with doTERRA, we are working directly with the farmers and the harvesters to be sure that they are sourced purely, that they're sourced natively, because that's where they have the greatest medicinal quality. And then we test them thoroughly. And then we also really take care of our growers. So Vetiver, they wanted pure water. They were walking hours a day for pure water. And so we always ask the community, what do you need? Whether it's schools, clinics, pure water, and it was pure water for them. And there is a video as well on YouTube of them receiving the water for the first time, the Vetiver families, and it's pretty.
That's awesome.
Feels really good to know that we're
really
doing
important.
that.
Awesome.
Okay, so frankincense. Let's have this be our last one, because frankincense is actually the oldest traded commodity in human history.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. All right, let's see what this is all about. So frankincense, what is its original form? Before it
is a tree resin, and it is like a hard resin that forms on the outside of the tree.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's very difficult to harvest. They climb the tree, and these trees are kind of like on the side of cliffs, and the trees are passed down through generations. It's their most valuable resource in like Somalia and Oman.
That's where this comes from. So there are only certain places that can grow then. Okay. Yeah. Wow, because this is another one that I'm aware of so many immense benefits of using it. This is not what I'd use as a perfume on its own. And it's not one that I've actually seen as an ingredient in that many perfumes, but to me, it's rather on the spicy side, actually. Like I get a little bit of like the tree vibe, a little greenness in it. But I wouldn't say the scent is distinct in that it's like, I want to smell like this. It's more like the properties are so powerful.
Yeah, so if you think about skincare, so it's amazing for wrinkles, for cells, so knocking out damaged cells and revitalizing healthy cells.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Inflammation.
Oh, really? And is this one you can ingest as well?
That is one. Yeah,
oh, wow.
It's wonderful. Like even just a drop on your tongue.
Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste too bad when you do that?
It tastes strong.
There's a certain taste to it.
And we're at the place where even like my kids will take essential oils directly on their tongue because they know that it makes them feel great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Wow. Great history to this one. That's really cool. How it's harvested and everything. And so I assume that doTERRA also supports those harvesters and tries to...
Absolutely. So there's a frankincense cooperative now in that region of the world, whereas before they were really just like on their own and there was a lot of disharmony and they really weren't getting the value for what they were worth. Essential oil companies were coming in and saying like, well, what's the cheapest we can get this from you? Oh, we can get it cheaper over here. Yeah. And then there were these middlemen. Middlemen adulterating it, telling the harvesters that we'll pay you when we sell it. All kinds of, right? And so we're treating them fairly. And so two things. We have co-impact sourcing, and that means win-win. So that means they're going to give us the best. And in return, we are going to treat them equally, right? Yeah. And then we have healing hands, and healing hands means 100% of the benefit goes to whoever it is we're taking care of. So that would be an example for like the pure water in Haiti. That's a healing hands project. Okay. And like in Nepal, I got to go experience the co-impact sourcing of wintergreen and see the wintergreen being harvested. It was so beautiful to see these young women harvesting wintergreen, carrying it.
Is it harvested in winter?
No, so no, it's a beautiful wild crafted plant.
All right, so take a pause to actually grab some wintergreen so that I can experience it, because I think I've only experienced wintergreen like in a gum.
Totally. Yep, a mint.
Yes.
Sometimes it's in like muscle rubs because it's very soothing for muscles. Okay. And so just picture these young women in Nepal, and they have these like handmade baskets, and we teach them how to sustainably Wildcraft, the Wintergreen, and how proud they were when they dropped it off. It gets weighed and they get handed cash. Now, this isn't a village where the only source of income is growing potatoes, and they're far, far, far from a place where they can sell the potatoes. So it's just a whole process for them to be able to earn any income. And so to have that income of the Wintergreen is incredible. And then having the relationship with those harvesters and distillers, it's a big deal. And one example is when they first were distilling the Wintergreen and one of our sourcing experts went out to visit them, they were using like a plastic pitcher to receive the oil. And this is oil, it's hot oil coming out because there's a fire that heats it up to steam distill the oil. So we didn't want plastic. And if we weren't the kind of company that took the time to
see how they're really processing it,
right? So it was a big deal to actually get them a glass pitcher in this remote area of the world. So little things like that are just quality checks that really up-level our sourcing.
I would love to have that job. The person that goes around and sees where everything is made.
That was probably one of my favorite parts of going on the trip was meeting Jared Moon is his name. And he's the person that takes care of Nepal, India, and then there's different sourcing experts for all different parts of the world.
That's incredible.
Like we go to the effort of like, they'll travel for 2 days to get to a remote village to have those experiences, like substituting the plastic pitcher for the glass pitcher.
Wow.
Yeah, incredible.
That's what life is about right there.
And then the healing hands that we got to do aside from meeting the Wintergreen distillers and harvesters was we got to build a clean water project for 500 families that now have
huge.
Water.
Just for daily life.
Exactly.
That's huge.
Yeah, it was 3 hours that they used to walk to get water that was like sort of clean.
Me?
Yeah, so it was really magical to stay in their village and
that's amazing.
It's so good.
This is just like a lifesaver. It really is. And I love it. And I love it. Like I could definitely see, actually, I don't know, tell me if this is actually something I'm able to do. Just like putting this with some water in a spray bottle when it's really hot out, just like kind of misting it over myself. Like I could see doing that.
Yep. Oh yeah, Disney World, that was actually one of our favorite tricks for like being in lines of with kids that are hot was spritzing.
Bring a little spray bottle.
Exactly.
Oh, I love it. Like putting it in the fridge and like having it cool. Like, I can totally see this now. Oh, it's beautiful. It's so uplifting. It's a little bit sweet. It's like not too sharp. It's like a really like beautiful, rounded kind of mint scent. That is so good. Could you put this in water and drink it?
So not this one. I'm so glad you asked me that because I want to show you how user-friendly these are. So I'm going to show you the lemongrass, for example, had that supplement fact. And when you look at the Wintergreen, there's no supplement fact. So that's the simplest way for the user to know when it can be adjusted and when it can't be.
Gotcha. Yeah. Awesome. Oh, so many awesome ones. This is great. So, I mean, I know we talked about how essential oils aren't usually used for perfume, but the more we're talking about it, the more I'm getting them on my hands, the more I'm realizing they absolutely could be. Yeah, I can see just like making a little spritzer out of them. I know I have a little spray bottle of a few different a blend of a few different oils together with some water. I spray under my pillow before I go to sleep. So it's not on my pillow, on my face wet, but it's like the scent comes out while I'm trying to sleep, or like I have a diffuser next to the bed. There's so many great ways. And honestly, before we even talked, essential oils are the way I scent my home. I don't use the wallflowers. I don't use the gel stuff. Like I sometimes use candles, but essential oils are the way I prefer to scent my home, because when I have a scent or a chemical that's in my nose, in my eyes, all around me, like I'm breathing it in all day, constantly, I just feel better when it's essential oils. And granted, I wear perfumes, and you could argue that that's still in my nose, and I know I'm sure there's a lot of people who feel like perfume is not natural, and that's a whole other argument. But I will say that essential oils are a really big part of how I experience fragrance. And I really love the quality of these. And you're right, you told me you're going to compare the quality of doTERRA to the ones you already have, and you're going to want doTERRA. And she's absolutely right. Like, they are like much better quality, and I love it. It's so clear what you can ingest or not. Like, unless it told me specifically I could ingest it safely, I would not with any of my oils.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that kind of.
Yeah, the user-friendly is probably one of my favorite pieces. When I first received my oils, just by smelling them, I knew they were a great quality, better than any quality I had ever experienced.
Yeah.
It was through my daughter actually crying with a earache in the middle of the night, and using my usage guide, looking up ear discomfort, and following the instructions, and the 3 oils that were listed, 2 of the oils I had in my starter kit. And so I was able to use this usage guide, my starter kit, be really an amateur, stressed out mom in that moment, and be able to help my daughter, bring her comfort. And in the morning, she didn't even mention the pain. And that's when I was like, okay, these are really different than the ones that I had just been buying at the health food store.
Yeah, you can kind of feel more confident that you're using the best quality on a child. That's probably pretty important.
And I had the tools to resource the solutions myself. So that was a feeling of being empowered.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So while I have you, I looked at your website, and you mentioned doTERRA a little bit, but it's actually primarily not about doTERRA. It's about how you help people to thrive and to be healthy. And do you want to talk all about your business and what you're up to?
You're so awesome.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
I want you to. I want to know too.
Nice. Yeah, I set out really all my life. I have wanted to make a big difference in the world. And so it started out for me as midwifery. As a young person, 18, 19 years old, I set out with studying to be a midwife. And I've been a licensed midwife since 2005. And it was all about people feeling empowered and knowing that they have choices and being able to be on purpose with a significant life event. And there was a moment in my mothering when I had 3 of my children, and my last was not born yet, of feeling like, when are we ever going to get the out breath? Like, it was just constant. My husband's a chiropractor. He was always seeing patients. I was, managing a lot as a midwife and mom and wife of chiropractor. And I just thought, wow, residual income. I had been really closed off to network marketing before, and I just thought, wow, residual income actually makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
And in that moment, it clicked for me. I use doTERRA oils already and love these and share them with people who need them. There is an income opportunity. What if? And so this just possibility opened up in my mind, and in my heart there was a sense of, this is possible. Yeah. And so I just started inviting people to learn about essential oils, and it's really grown from that to now helping people get the physical benefits they want, emotional benefits, and oftentimes the financial benefits as well.
So if someone came to you and said, I have this health issue, what oil should I use? That's something you'd be feeling like capable of advising on to a certain extent, not as a doctor. But
so I like not being the expert. I really like the book being the expert. Absolutely. And so there is that usage guide and that empowerment that comes from really me educating the customer on how to get the benefits and how to resource the answers for themselves.
Perfect. Okay, and that's probably what people say most about essential oils and like doTERRA in general, is that they feel empowered to seek out their own answers and their own holistic health methods.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that's not to downplay the need of like going to your doctor and things like that, but but there are, like, if I have like a sore back, I'm not going to call my doctor, right? Like, there's some things I can do for ailments like that.
Right. And I even think about like what we just experienced through the last couple years of, places being shut down and needing solutions at home.
Yes.
To provide relief and comfort.
Yeah, because you actually can't get out and get other opinions. Yeah. If nothing else, like, whether it's doTERRA or not, I definitely recommend just looking into essential oils to start at least, because they do smell good. First of all, they smell good. They feel good, and I feel good when I have them in my diffuser or like in my home. It just is really nice to have them as a resource. So I'm gonna pop quiz you for one question. What are your top 3 favorite oils? You have to choose.
Okay, I'm gonna choose. So one of them is tea tree that I didn't share here, and it's not for the smell. I don't love the smell.
I'm not sure I love the smell either.
No, it is not a smell thing for me. It's like if I were to be on an island and I really had to pick, that would be one that's sort of like Swiss Army knife for me.
Interesting.
So not personal fragrance there. Oh, goodness. My other 2 favorite oils.
See, I thought I was making it easier on you by giving you 3, but I should have just given you 1.
Yeah, because that's the one that I thought about the most. Like, okay, if I had to pick one on an island.
You were ready for that question.
I love the citrus oils. That's not fair because that's not one. That's a whole category.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're awesome.
And then of the mints, I really love spearmint.
That's your favorite mint?
It's my favorite mint.
I think Wintergreen might actually now. I love spearmint, peppermint, but now I've smelled Wintergreen. I'm like, oh, that was so good.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so good.
Here, have this bottle of Wintergreen to take
Seriously?
with you. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's from Nepal. It's pink wintergreen. It's really beautiful.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore it. So thank you very much.
Welcome.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to say while we're here? Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Right. You're so fun. Thank you for this. I feel like it really fits along your passion for personal fragrance and scents. And
talking to you has made that more clear, actually.
Cool.
Because I didn't consider personal fragrance to be like essential oils, but now I'm really warming up to the idea. I'm really excited about it now. So, and the idea of like using a carrier oil or like, you know, using it as like a moisturizer with my favorite scent in it, like that is the next step for me, I think. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yay. So I know that I shared that we love to empower people to like have the book be the expert and to resource the answers for themselves. We also support our customers through, like you said, the continuing education. So I have Christy Feiker Essentials as a Facebook page, and then I share some tips on Instagram, and then I also add to blogging.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to get those links from you, and I'll put them in the description so they can find those too.
Okay.
Because I want to read that as well.
Awesome.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks so much, Christy, for taking the time and like opening your home. And I just really appreciate it. Anyway, would love comments and accolades, of course, for Christy. I would love to have some positive feedback for her to see how awesome she was. I believe she did an awesome job today. And so let us know how you use essential oils and what your favorite ones are. And we'll be watching the comments for that. Thanks so much for being here. Hope you have a very beautiful day.